Hello, my name is Suzy Buono. I am working at DNM2, a biotechnology based in Strasbourg in France. And today I am going to speak about antisense oligonucleotides mediated DNM2 knockdown for centronuclear myopathies. So centronuclear myopathies are serious and rare diseases. They are characterized by muscle atrophy, weakness, and hypotonia. The patients need ventilator support, feeding tube, and wheelchair, and the incidence is 1 out of 41,000. So you can see on the picture that at the histological levels, muscle fibers are smaller and present central nuclei, so on the right picture, compared to bigger muscle fiber size on peripheral nuclei on the left picture. It exists 3 different etiologies due to mutation in 3 different proteins called MTM1, DNM2, and BIN1. And it has been previously shown that an increase of DNM2 is linked to the cause of the disease. So in myotubular myopathy, it's due to MTM1 mutation, so MTM1 is not expressed, and the loss of MTM1 leads to an overexpression of DNM2. So you can see on the top panel. Whereas in the dominant centronuclear myopathy, DNM2 is mutated, and this leads to another activity of DNM2. So we think that too much DNM2 may be toxic to muscle cells. So our goal is to use antisense oligonucleotides targeting murine DNM2 as a therapy to rescue the phenotype in mice. So in order to evaluate the first phenotype in our different disease model, so we are using the Aurora Scientific Force Transducer 305. And our main experiment is to measure the in situ muscle force, so in mice under anesthesia. So you can see on the top panel that the tendon of the muscle, so which is for us the tibialis anterior, is attached to the isometric transducer of the machine. And then the sciatic nerve is stimulated at different frequencies with an electrode to record the force. And in general, we are performing 2 different protocols, which are the force frequency and fatigue protocols that I will explain you just after. So once the mouse is ready, the first experiment to be done is to adjust the muscle to the optimum length that we call L0 test. So for this test, the sciatic nerve is stimulated with a single electrical pulse just to produce a twitch response. And then the muscle length is adjusted to longer or shorter lengths depending on the curve obtained. So you can see an example of this test on the right. And the baseline should be at the same level, so before and after the stimulation. And we see that the optimal muscle length L0 is achieved when the twitch force is maximal. So after the determination of the L0, we are performing the force frequency test. So for this test, the muscle is stimulated at increasing frequencies, so typically 1, 25, 50, 100, and 125 Hertz. And the absolute maximal force is determined, which is generally obtained on the force stimulation. So on the picture, you can see that the maximal force is corresponding to the force peak. And on the left, you have the picture of the typical protocol for this test. And to determine the specific maximal force, the muscle is then dissected and weighed. Another test that we are performing is the fatigue test. So in that case, the fatigue is measured stimulating continuously the sciatic nerve with a frequency of 50 Hertz and during 20 seconds. And the fatigue is measured as the time taken to reach 50 or 30% of the maximal force produced. So you can see on the right panel that the force is decreasing with the time. And we just saw the methodology part, and now I am going to speak how the Aurora force transducer can be useful for our study. So as I have explained you before, we have a mouse model of myotubular myopathy called MTM1 knockout mice. And these mice don't express MTM1, and they have a severe phenotype with a reduced lifespan, which is around 8 weeks old, and a strong muscle weakness. And as DNM2 is increased in this model, our strategy was to reduce DNM2 with antisense oligonucleotides provided by Ionis, the world leader in the market, and to see if we can rescue the phenotype of these mice. So we first injected the mice weekly from 3 weeks old, so at the beginning of the feature until 5 weeks old, and we evaluate with the Aurora machine the specific force in situ. And we can see that MTM1 knockout mice injected with DIN0 in red, so which is the antisense oligonucleotide control, have a low force compared to the MTM1 knockout injected with DIN101, so targeting DNM2 in blue. And in a second experiment, so we injected mice weekly from 5 weeks old when they are already affected until 12 weeks old to see if we can reverse the phenotype after the apparition of the symptoms. So for this experiment, we did the dose response, so with 3 different doses at 25, 12.5, and 6.25 milligrams per kilogram. And at this age, the MTM1 knockout control are dead because they are dying around 8 weeks old. So that's why we don't have the control group, but we can observe a nice dose response for the specific force with a bigger force at 25 milligrams per kilogram in orange. So in conclusion, we can say that the antisense oligonucleotide targeting DNM2 results in improved muscle force. And the next step for our study is to evaluate if we can reduce the number of injections. So the autosomal dominant centronuclear myopathy is due to DNM2 mutation. So in this study, we use DNM2 F65W heterozygous mice, so that we call DNM2 knock-in mice, that present a very mild myopathy phenotype. And this mutation is the most common found in humans. So as before, we have used antisense oligonucleotide to reduce DNM2 in this model to see if we can rescue another form of centronuclear myopathy. So we did the dose response reversion protocol, meaning injected the mice after the apparition of the symptom. So at 8 weeks old until 12 weeks old, at 25, 12.5, and 6.25 milligrams per kilogram. And for the absolute force, so on the left, we can see that DNM2 knock-in mice control in gray have a lower force compared to wild-type mice, whereas we can observe a nice dose response with the rescue of the force on the bigger force at 25 milligrams per kilogram in blue. The time to fatigue was also measured, so in a second protocol. So we measured the time to reach 30% of the maximal force, and here there is no statistical difference between the wild-type, DNM2 knock-in control, and DNM2 knock-in treated mice. In conclusion, the DNM2 knockdown can efficiently correct the dominant CNM, so centronuclear myopathy, due to DNM2 mutation. And it's an example of treating a dominant disease by targeting both alleles, suggesting that this strategy may be applied to other dominant diseases. So in conclusion, this study confirms that targeting DNM2 as a potential therapy for centronuclear myopathies. And the Aurora scientific force transducer is a sensitive technique and helps us to better understand the phenotype. And our goal is also to measure the in situ muscle force in other neuromuscular mice models and to test in vivo and in vitro muscle force technique. I would like to thank the DNM2 and especially the research team, our collaborator Ionis, Jocelyn Laporte and Marc Bitung, and thank you also to Aura Scientific for organizing this nice event. So if you would like to know more about the research and the methods presented, please contact me directly. Thank you. Bye.